My parents sold my inheritance behind my back. And they didn't just lie about it, they waited until Thanksgiving dinner to pretend like nothing ever happened. I walked in thinking we were celebrating family. Turns out, I was sitting across the table from two people who'd already taken everything from me and were smiling through a secret they hoped I'd never uncover. But I already knew. I just hadn't told them yet. The funny thing is, it wasn't even the money. Not really. I mean, yeah, it was a decent amount. The house my grandfather left us was fully paid off. Old red brick with white shutters, sat on a little hill in Maryland. Not huge, but solid. Built to last. But it was more than that, you know? That house, it was all the summers I spent with Grandpa mowing the lawn. All the Sunday pancakes. It was the only place that felt like home after college. And after he passed, he left it to me in writing. I saw the will. I was right there when the lawyer read it. My name was on it. Sole beneficiary of the property. My parents didn't say much at the time. Just nodded. Kept quiet. Said they were proud of how close I was to Grandpa. And I believed them. I didn't think I needed to double-check anything. Why would I? They were my parents. They wouldn't lie about that, would they? But months passed, and something started to feel off. Every time I asked about finalizing the transfer, they'd change the subject. Let's wait till after tax season. You're not in a rush, right? We'll get to it soon. And then they stopped bringing it up altogether. I got busy too. Work, life, dating someone new. But that little voice, that tiny knot in my stomach, it kept tugging. Something didn't feel right, so I made a quiet call to the county office. Just a routine check, I told myself. Just making sure the paperwork was in motion. The woman on the phone was polite. Asked for the address. Typed for a bit, and then she said it. Oh yes, that property was transferred 6 weeks ago. It's now under Richard and Janet Miller. My parents. My chest went cold. I couldn't even speak for a second. I'm sorry, I said, trying to sound calm. There must be a mistake. That property was willed to me. She paused, lowered her voice. Well, sir, according to the deed on file, it was sold. Closed and recorded. I can send you a copy. I thanked her, hung up, and just sat there. My parents, they didn't just block the transfer. They sold it. Quietly, behind my back. And never said a word. It felt like someone had unplugged the floor beneath me. I didn't know whether to scream or cry, but I didn't do either. I didn't even confront them. Not yet. I needed to be sure. I needed proof. So I waited for the documents. They came in a plain envelope 3 days later. I still remember the sound of it sliding through the mail slot like a door creaking open. Inside, the new deed, signed and notarized. Buyer, a company name I didn't recognize. Seller, Richard and Janet Miller. The price? Way below market value, practically a handoff. It looked like a rush sale, quick and quiet. And the final gut punch? The date. It was the exact weekend I had flown out to visit my girlfriend's family in North Carolina. They'd waited until I was out of town, sold it, and said nothing. That's when I stopped talking to them. No texts, no calls, just silence. For 3 weeks. And then, Thanksgiving rolled around. You don't owe them a damn thing. And she was right. I didn't, but I also couldn't stop thinking about it. About how they'd sit at that table, pass the gravy, say a prayer for all they're thankful for while hiding what they did. While pretending everything was fine, I couldn't let them rewrite the story like that. Not this time. So, the morning of Thanksgiving, I got dressed, took my time, pressed my shirt, polished my shoes, put that envelope in my jacket pocket, and zipped it shut. Melissa didn't come with me. She said she'd be at her sister's if I needed her, and I appreciated that. Honestly, I think I needed to walk into that house alone. I pulled up to my parents' place right around 4. The sky was that kind of soft November gray, where the light's starting to fade, but everything still looks kind of golden for a second. Leaves were crunching under my shoes. The smell of roasting turkey hit me before I even rang the bell. My mom opened the door with her usual over-the-top smile. There you are, she said, like I'd just been running late, not emotionally estranged for nearly a month. We didn't think you were coming. I didn't say much, just stepped inside. My dad was in the living room watching football with my uncle, like it was any other year. My aunt waved from the dining table. The cousins were huddled around their phones. It all felt weirdly normal. Too normal. Like someone had painted over the truth with this glossy coat of tradition. Dinner's almost ready, my mom chirped. Can I get you some wine? Sure, I said. Red if you've got it. She poured me a glass like nothing had happened. I sipped it slow, walked around the room, nodding at people, laughing at dumb jokes, pretending I didn't know what I knew. Every now and then, my mom would glance at me like she was trying to read my temperature. My dad, well, he barely looked me in the eye. We all sat down to eat around 5. My mom insisted on saying grace, as always, thanking God for family, for health, for all the blessings we've received this year. I nearly choked on my stuffing when she said that. Blessings, huh? Funny how they never mentioned the cost. Conversation drifted into safe topics: weather, gas prices, whether the new mayor was any good. I kept waiting for the moment, and it came. Right as dessert was being served, my mom passed around slices of pumpkin pie, topped with whipped cream, and casually said, "We're thinking of investing in another little place. The Glenville property worked out so well, didn't it?" And my dad nodded, took a sip of his coffee. "Yeah, good timing. We lucked out on that one. That was it. That was the moment." They thought they could just float it out there, pretend it was no big deal. Like I wasn't sitting right there. Like I didn't know exactly what they did. I put down my fork, Saturday back. Let a few seconds pass in silence. Then I said, "You mean the house Grandpa left me?" The room froze. You ever hear a room go quiet? Not just no one talking, I mean full on air, sucked out quiet. My aunt looked confused. One cousin glanced up from her phone. My mom's smile twitched just a little. "What are you talking about?" she said, all fake innocence. "The house in Glenville," I said. "The one Grandpa left to me. The one you sold behind my back while I was out of town." My dad coughed into his napkin. My mom went pale. We didn't mean to," she started. "You didn't mean to what?" I cut in. "Didn't mean to hide it? To lie about it? To sign your names where mine should have been?" My voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the room like glass. "I have the deed, the dates, the sale price, the buyer's name. I know everything." My dad tried to play it calm. "We thought it was best for the family. That house needed too much work. You weren't ready for it." "That's not your call," I said. "It wasn't your house to sell." I pulled out the envelope, set it down next to the mashed potatoes. "This is a copy of the sale. Just so everyone here knows what kind of blessings we're giving thanks for tonight." No one spoke. My mom reached out like she wanted to grab it, but didn't. My dad stared at the table. My uncle looked like he wanted to disappear. "You could have told me," I said, quieter now. "You could have said something. But you lied. You sat here tonight and lied. And for what?" My mom opened her mouth and nothing came out. I stood up. "Happy Thanksgiving," I said. "Enjoy the pie." And I walked out, closed the door behind me. The cold air outside felt better than anything inside that house. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't check it. Not yet. Not until I was halfway down the street and breathing again. I didn't go home right away. I just drove. Nowhere in particular. Through the back roads behind town, past the old high school, past the lake where Dad used to take me fishing. I rolled the windows down. Let the air hit my face. I think I just needed to feel something real for a minute, because everything in that house, it felt fake. The food, the smiles, the "we didn't mean to S." All of it. You know, it's weird. When you're a kid, your parents are like giants. Like they know everything. They protect you. They decide what's right. But somewhere along the way you grow up, and sometimes you realize they're just people. People who make selfish choices. People who lie. And sometimes people who betray their own. I ended up at a diner just off Route 12. Place was half empty, except for a couple truckers and a lady reading a book. I slid into a booth, ordered coffee, and just sat there with my thoughts. My phone buzzed a few times, missed calls, 2 texts from my mom, nothing from my dad. One of the texts said, "We didn't want you to get overwhelmed with responsibility." The other said, "Please don't tell the rest of the family." Yeah, too late for that. Not that I blasted them online or anything. I'm not that kind of guy. But I left that envelope on the table for a reason. People saw. People knew. I think a part of me wanted that. Not revenge exactly, just truth. Out in the open. I got home close to midnight. Melissa was waiting up for me. She didn't ask much, just opened her arms. And I let go. Not crying exactly, but something close. That night, I didn't sleep much. Just laid there staring at the ceiling, thinking about Grandpa. He trusted me with that house. He left it to me for a reason. And my parents, they turned that gift into a transaction. Like it was just a thing to flip for quick cash. But I wasn't going to let it end like that. So the next day, I called a lawyer, told her everything, showed her the documents, asked if there was anything I could do. She was calm, professional. Said it wouldn't be easy, but depending on how the will was handled and if there was proof of intent, I might have a case. So I filed, quietly. No drama, no social media, just facts and paperwork. And while the process dragged on 6 months of letters, hearings, and more legal fees than I care to admit, I kept my distance. No family dinners, no updates, just space. They didn't reach out either. Not once. Maybe their lawyer told them not to, or maybe they were just ashamed. Either way, I was okay with it. During that time, something changed in me. I started looking at things differently. I used to think family was this unbreakable thing. Blood, tradition, shared holidays. But now? Now I think family is who shows up, who stands beside you when things get messy, who tells you the truth even when it's hard. My parents failed that, but Melissa didn't. My friends didn't. Even Grandpa, in a way, didn't. He trusted me. And I wasn't about to let that go to waste. The hearing was short. Surprisingly so. My lawyer laid out the will, the sale timeline, the lack of transparency. The judge didn't even flinch. Ruled in my favor. The house was ordered to be returned to me. The buyers, a small holding company, were refunded by my parents. I didn't smile in the courtroom, didn't gloat. I just nodded. Thanked the judge, walked out into the sunlight, and took a breath that felt like mine. A week later, I got the keys. The house had been empty for a bit, but it was still standing strong. Same creaky steps, same sunlit kitchen window. I stood in the living room for a long time. Just stood there. Quiet. Breathing it in. Then I set my bag down. Because I wasn't just visiting. I was staying. I spent the next few weeks fixing things up, repainting walls, cleaning out gutters, planting new flowers in the yard. It wasn't about the property. It was about making it mine. About honoring what Grandpa gave me. About turning betrayal into something solid. Something good. My parents never apologized. Not really. I got one card in the mail, no return address. Inside it just said, "We didn't know how to make it right. We hope you're happy." That was it. No names, no signature, just those words. And you know what? That's fine. I don't need them to make it right. I already did. This year, I hosted Thanksgiving. Melissa helped with the cooking. A few friends came. Even my uncle showed up, which surprised me. We sat around the same kind of table, with the same kind of food, but it felt different. Warmer. Honest. Nobody lied, nobody stole, nobody pretended. And when I stood up to say grace, I didn't say anything fancy. I just said, I'm thankful for second chances, and for finally knowing what family really means. And I meant every word.